you all had a great holiday season. It's over, and now it's time to figure out what to do with the tree. I had Igor on in my last video. I'm a big fan of Igor, and this is a reprinting of one of his earliest comics from the 80s. That's like, this is the deluxe version. It's like, shortly in the video chat I did with him, I pulled it out to show him, and I had it. I just wanted to go through it for you all out there. See, there's only 1,300 of them, and he did a drawing in it for me. So what this book is it collects this one story he did called Ishiki no Kashi, and with a little bit of information in the beginning about what that story was about. And the story itself is, I think, like 40-something pages. It's pretty short. And it did come out in English in like 89, I think. Oh no, excuse me. It came out in 1991 as this version here, Adult Feelings, from Catalan Communications. And there, I don't know. I just had to make sure that's actually what the publisher was. So it has this weird Batman cover. And in the introduction, Igor talks about how he likes superheroes. He likes Batman. And then, so here's the story here in English. And then so it's this story, and then behind it after this is like this like weird Batman story that let's see, as like a backup feature. But he didn't collect this Batman story in this edition here from Oblomov Editions that came out like last year, or well, no, a few years ago. So in this little introduction that he has for this new printing of the story, he talks about how he drew it between 83 and 84, and that back then that like manga wasn't widely in bookstores in Italy at the time. So the world of like of Japan was very mysterious to a lot of the people there, and the culture was really mysterious and unknown there. So it kind of captured his imagination. So he began setting like a lot of his stories in Japan. His very first story, which had been serialized in some Italian magazines, I think Alter, which was like an alternative version of this Italian magazine called Linus, was printing a lot of his short stories. And I believe they were printing this short story, which became his very first book, which was called Goodbye Baobab. Baobab, I think is how you say it. And that was about like a sumo wrestler who like has a fetish for meat or something like that. It was never available in English, so I can only like go off of what I can assume, or pieces I can find on the internet and stuff. So yeah, so he has an introduction that kind of talks about the background of where this story came from. This woman in this photograph inspired the female character within the story, and this was a photograph that he had on his wall and looked at for a long time. So here we have this kind of introduction, which is new to the story, which is not in the original edition, and then here we have the new printing of Ishiki no Kashi. So he writes in his introduction that he wanted to go back and fix the coloring, because the original edition, the original printing back then, the printing process was pretty bad, so the colors didn't come out very good. And this is an interesting example right here. Just this little crosshatch. You can see the original edition. The crosshatch is messy. You can see this stuff is kind of weird. The background here is this weird painted. Actually, I like that, but I know what he means. It's a little rougher than the line work and the art is. And then so here's the cleaned up version. And you can see that even the background behind her driving is new. Here's the original. So yeah, so the whole book is full of this kind of redrawn on some parts and recolored, sort of remastered George Lucas style. But it's just gorgeous. I mean, a lot of this stuff you buy for the art, like Igor's work is, I mean, it's just such a joy to look at. So after I did that chat video with him, I went back and started looking at more of his work again. And I hope that, you know, during the chat, he talks about how he's going to try and, or maybe, I don't know if I edited this out or not, but he was looking for an English publisher to reprint some of his work. And God damn, I hope somebody does that. Another thing that kind of has been reviving my spirits, as far as comics go, has been this anthology, the Los Angeles Times, edited by Sammy Harcum. I didn't even know this existed. It just showed up on my mailbox. And I was like, what is this? And at first I thought it was actually a supplement from the Los Angeles Times, like a comic supplement that Sammy had edited or something. But it's not. It's just a underground anthology that he put together. And the list of artists that are involved in it, it's just outstanding. Just amazing. And when I read this stuff, like, I immediately wanted to go and make comics again. Like, look how beautiful all this is. And so he reprints older comics that he really likes, like right here, like Milk Gross. Just have like a Milk Gross page next to like somebody, I don't know if this is older. I actually don't know who this artist is, but just that kind of juxtaposition is like interesting. So the story, and then we got Tarzan. Some Nancy comics. Barnaby, probably reprinted illegally. Johnny Ryan. Just so cool. I hope you guys can, I mean, maybe some of you out there already have this, but yeah, like this Simon Hanselman comic, which I think this is from his Instagram. Some of the stuff in here are like the COVID comics that people were doing on Instagram. I think there's, I could be wrong, but I think Ben Mara has his Instagram comic on here. And I can't, man, I shouldn't admit this, but I can't read people's comics on the internet. Like when they're serializing a long book or a story on Instagram or something, like I just kind of pass over it. Maybe I'll read a couple of them, but I don't follow it because I don't like reading comics on a screen generally. I know it makes me kind of weird these days, but I just can't do it. And I always think, oh, I'll just wait till the book comes out. And luckily this book is coming out very soon. So that's awesome. And this was a really hyped up comic in 2020. I mean, that was like the comic that was happening, it seemed like. So that's going to be a book to look forward to. An Ivan Brunetti comic here about Frank Santoro. Yeah, Sammy's a really good editor. I don't know how he's really good at pulling together just the right artists. In my opinion, I think he's great. This is David King, who's an incredible artist, really cool cartoonist. Jordan Crane, someone I'd really like to have on my channel pretty soon if I can get him to talk to me. Stephen Weissman, another person I'd like to have on the channel. Will Sweeney. I just love it, man. This stuff, like, I just love comics. Lolly Westwind, another artist I'd like to have on the channel. Oh my god. So much good stuff.